In this presentation, you're going to learn about the Week 2 assignment, in which you will practice 5 basic composition techniques. The photographs you take this week will illustrate 5 basic techniques that include symmetrical and asymmetrical balance, framing, pattern, and reflection. Symmetrical balance is seen in almost perfectly centered compositions, or those with almost mirror images on either side, as if the image could be folded in half. Symmetry gives a formal sense, or a sense of intentionality, to the composition. Symmetry is often described as formal balance. Symmetry is one of the most beautiful elements of the natural world. Simplicity is a perfect approach when trying to achieve symmetrical balance. It's important to square up to your subject when trying to achieve a more formal, symmetrically balanced photograph. Your images may be approximate symmetry instead of actual, but still square up your camera as much as possible to achieve symmetrical balance. Asymmetrical balance occurs when the left and right sides of the design are not visually equal, yet at the same time provides diversity and harmony through dissimilar visual elements. Asymmetry is also known as informal balance. Asymmetrical balance means achieving equilibrium by using visual elements that have different visual properties, such as size, directional movement, or shape, that gives the impression they belong together. Asymmetry plays on the differences between visual elements to form a more interesting and dynamic image. The rule of thirds can be used to organize your asymmetrical composition. When deciding between asymmetrical versus symmetrical balance, explore how the subject fits within the natural world. In some cases, asymmetry may produce a stronger composition. Why? Because it gives the viewer a less formal, more personal look at the subject. Being able to relate to a photograph on a personal level is a sign of a successful image. Framing in a composition involves positioning the focal point or subject between visual objects. Seek out unique perspectives to frame a subject or object. Framing is a way of isolating a subject within lines, light, or unique shapes. You can also use deliberate framing to add interest to the photograph. Staging a photo for framing is a great way to explore this. Look for unique opportunities for framing, such as shapes in nature. Colors and shapes are important aspects of pattern. Why? It's all about the details. A pattern photograph can be enhanced by subtle visual irregularities, occurring in this photograph as different words, styles of writing, texture, and even other design principles such as symmetrical balance, juxtaposed against repeating colors and shapes. These guide the eye around the composition, holding interest and engaging the viewer. Patterns of all kinds occur throughout human constructs. Look for patterns around your house, in your town or city, or in the countryside. Light plays a huge part in pattern and can add significant interest to the photograph. Patterns of all kinds occur at all scales throughout nature. Don't be afraid to get close up to your subject matter. Try to see the pattern in more of an abstract way if you can. When you look for patterns, pay attention to how light and shadow are impacting the design. These elements can add incredible interest to photographs. The key word for a successful pattern photograph is repetition. Pattern builds a visual rhythm in an image, and subtle visual changes can cause a strong impact on a composition, as can how you approach your subject matter. Explore different angles and perspectives. Reflection is the change in direction of a wavefront at an interface between two different media, so that the wavefront returns into the medium from which it originated. Mirrors work great for reflections. While it's requested that you not photograph from inside your car, this photo, taken while parked, is an example of a deliberate composition that uses the car and side mirror. Be sure to take multiple photos of the same scene, paying attention to how you frame and arrange your image. Be deliberate about what you select. This photo was selected from about 20 different shots, and to really determine the strongest image, It had to be viewed on a larger screen to choose the strongest composition. Reflections don't necessarily need to mirror something. They can be used to add interest to a photograph, such as this reflection on the turntable cover. It is okay to include your camera in the reflection, as long as it is done so intentionally as part of the composition. Reflections can be found in nature and in man-made areas. Water is an excellent source for reflections. Pay attention to the light as well as the surface of the water. Choppy surfaces may not provide a very good reflection. This photo shows a reflection with a silhouette and adds significant interest visually. Look for unique opportunities for your assignments. And importantly, have fun. Apply what you learn each week to your assignments. Be sure to keep your camera accessible and photograph regularly throughout the week, rather than taking all of your photographs in one setting. Seek out different lighting conditions or times of day. This is your chance to really begin to see your world in a new way. Remember, all photos need to be taken on or after the day class started. You need to resize and rename your images before posting to both the critique discussion and assignment Dropbox. Don't use the same subject for each category. Each composition technique must present a different object or subject matter. In some cases, the foreground or background may have elements that you don't want to include. If you can't crop them in camera, let them remain as natural parts of the composition. This is called using a full frame approach, where every part of the image counts aesthetically.